Hello, hello. It's time for Fishing Friends. What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Fishing Friends with Danny and Gina. I'm Danny.
I'm Gina.
And here's Gina's reef.
It's Gina's reef. It's my reef.
Yeah. It's not just a channel name. She actually does have a reef.
I still have it. It's still alive. It's still going. I promise. It's right there. In case you didn't get enough of it on Wednesday night, there it is again. Only now it's daylight. On Wednesday night it was the night just the blues, but now it's got some evening light on.
There we go.
I can hear myself in the other room. Hold on. Yep. There we go.
Well, yeah, I think it looks pretty good. You got
Thanks.
Lots of different corals in there that seem well aged.
Yes.
What's that you got growing on the back glass?
That's green star polyps.
Yeah.
Because I did not want that on my rock work because as you can see, it just grows where it wants. I didn't expect it to go straight up like it did. I thought it would kind of like at the top how it's flaring out. So I do need to. I'll probably chop like the top inch off and then replace it just to the right on the bottom and start a whole new side there and see if it. Yeah, because I want my whole back wall to be green star polyp.
See, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's up? We got Harrison Tropicals here.
Harrison.
And Black Powder Aquatics. And James H is here. What's up, James? Good to see y'all. Oh, man.
When
everybody smash the like button and hop over to the other channel via the description and smash the like button.
Yeah. What size tank is that? That's a 40 breeder.
40 breeder.
Yep.
The ideal starter saltwater tank. Really the ideal any starter tank, I think, It's got a great footprint. It's only 3 foot long, so it's not incredibly huge, but it's big enough to where it's like a good conversation starter.
Yeah.
And also it's big enough to where freshwater and saltwater, you kind of start to get a good amount of options as to what sort of fish you can get and other sort of creatures you can get too, just because it's a bigger tank. When you get those little small tanks, you're very limited to what you can get. Even in a 29 gallon, you're kind of limited in what you can get. But once you get to 40 breeder and then 55 gallons and stuff, which there's a debate on which one's actually, a better tank, I guess. But I'm all for 40 breeders versus a 55. And
are you just talking freshwater? Because in saltwater, a 40 breeder is that's technically a nano tank still.
Yeah. Well, yeah, especially with saltwater, those fish get extra large.
Yeah, you are very limited what you can put in a 40.
Yeah. With freshwater, you got a pretty good option. I mean, unless you're trying to go monster fish, you can't really put arowana in there. You can put one Oscar in there, but really an Oscar wants, a bigger tank than that too. But yeah. I'm looking into getting an Aqua Reef 400. So 400 liter, I'm guessing.
Whip. Mark Sterelson, hello, Bunny.
Whips World. Ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da. Only Oscars. What's up, June? I have an arrow in a 40 breeder right now. Well, I mean, when it's small, it's okay.
Yeah, it's a good grow out tank for the little bitty guys that you usually see in pet stores.
I just really like it because it's still a small tank relatively to how big of tanks people can get, but it's got that extra depth, in the back. So it's great for scaping. It's just great for oxygenation. There's much more surface area. And I mean, between like a 55 gallon and a 40 breeder, they actually hold almost the same amount of water, apparently. Because like I think the 40 breeder actually mathematically it holds closer to like 47 gallons or something like that, but this will just call it like the 40 breeder. And the 55 gallon only holds like maybe like 51 gallons of water. So for a 4 gallon difference or whatever, I'd still would much rather go with a 40 breeder over a 55 gallon.
Flip
Just
says it's a 5-incher now. It was a 3 when I got it. Yep.
5-inch.
Hopefully though in a 40. Yeah, you probably want to move them over soon. I had to visualize 5 inches.
It's not that big. I mean,
Yeah.
my thumb to end of my finger is 8 inches. So a 5-inch arowana.
I don't mean like now, but soon.
Yeah. Plus, he'll grow faster when you give him more room.
June says I once put 10 Oscars in a 40 breeder. They were only half an inch. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's great for. It's
Yeah.
perfect for like a grow out tank for your fry. Like if you're doing like breeding of any sort of like cichlid, African cichlids, South American cichlids, you throw them in the 40 breeder. It's literally called a 40 breeder, like duh. Like it's meant for like breeding fish.
Right. BRB.
Bye. Okay. Speaking of tanks, though, I still got to go pick up that 30 gallon or 29 gallon, 30 gallon breeder. I think that's kind of what it is. Like it's got a little bit of depth to it. It's 3 foot long, but it's not as big as the 40 breeder. And mathematically, it's like 29 gallons. I think it might be a 30 breeder. I don't know. I don't know what you would call this sort of tank that I got to pick up. I'll show you guys whenever I get it. But yeah, it was really cool. I ain't never seen that tank. I still got to go get it though. I might go pick it up tomorrow or maybe Monday. I'll shoot Diane a text and see if she's available over this weekend. Because yeah, I had to work today, and because I don't have to work on Monday, and so yeah, I was almost late to the stream because I got off work at an okay time, but I did a few things and then grabbed something to eat, and then all of a sudden realized, oh, I'm still in my uniform, so I had to change that really quick, and popped up just like 50 seconds before we went live.
Yeah, I was about to send you a message.
I wish the 40 was 4 foot instead of 3 foot, but then I only have 3 foot to work with space-wise, so maybe I'm talking out of my ass. Well, if you want a 4 foot tank that is the same footprint, that's when you get the 60 gallon breeder.
Yeah.
Or 75 gallon. Because the 75 gallon is okay, so a 60 breeder, a 75 gallon, and a 90 gallon all have the same exact footprint. They're just different heights. So the 60 breeder is a little bit shorter than the 40 breeder. The 75 gallon is a little bit taller than the 40 breeder. And then the 90 gallon is, even taller than that. So
Yeah.
So, there's multiple types of 4-foot tanks. So, yeah, if you only have 4 feet to work with, don't get a 55 gallon. Just don't. Just spend a little bit extra money to get at least a 75. You're going to be much happier. Get a 90 if you can. Because, just more water volume is always better. And then some fish like, more height too, especially like, your bigger fish like the Oscars and stuff. An arowana doesn't necessarily need too much height, but they do have this thing where if they're in like too shallow of water and they feel like they're too close to the substrate or whatever, they will be more like nervous and jumpy and like try to get out of there because they want to find deeper water. But they don't need like too deep.
Right.
I have all 4-footers, 55, 75, 2 90s, a 120, and 2 150 highs. Nice. I've never even seen a 120 or a 150 in person, I don't think.
I have.
Those sorts of tanks, I might have, and they just weren't, labeled that or something, because I've seen some larger tanks out at, Tropical World Pets before, but when I go to, Petco, the largest I've ever seen is, a 90-gallon or a 125. They do have 125s every so often, but that's a 6-foot tank, not a 4-foot. I've never seen those ones that are even more, even deeper. Because isn't the, the 120, isn't it 2 foot deep, actually, full 2 feet?
I think so.
It's 2 foot by 2 foot by 4 foot, I believe.
June says those are too small. Too small. Wimpy.
Yeah. See, I would love to have a really nice big tank, but my house is just not big enough for a big tank like that. I have one wall that I could maybe put an 8-foot tank on, but that is the wall that I have my television and my 2 bookshelves on, and I would have to literally rearrange my entire house just to put one tank there. And gosh, that tank would look so big in my house because it would it'd be taking up the entire wall.
Do it. Ian says, yeah, 4 by 2 by 2. Hi, Ian. Hi, Vibes. I don't know if you've already said yes.
House, both are 6-footers. I don't know if I said yes to what.
Or I don't know if I said hi to them.
Oh.
Or I don't know if you've already said hi to them.
No, I have not. So we've had more people come in that I have not officially said hi to. Minnow Aquarium guy, Ian with Atkins
said,
Aquariums.
I didn't say wimpy. Cute the way you said it. Yes, Ian, more Reef Cam. He was very excited to see it on Wednesday. He was like, I've been waiting a year for this update. I'm sorry.
Nice.
I know I've been slacking.
Well, it looks really good to have been slacking.
Thank you. Well, at that time I meant slacking on content. I've been slacking on making reef content.
Benoski Fish Koto.
Benoski.
There's no Fish Koto at the end anymore, but I still like to say it that way. Fish Koto. How come I can't see June? Anyway, yes, they are compared to June's collection of tanks. I'm super jelly in her setup. So, the reason you can't see June is because you are on Gina's stream. So, because of Streamyard, Streamyard has this ability to stream on multiple platforms as well as multiple channels. Any guests that you bring up, you can give them permission to throw the stream onto all of their channels and platforms and all that stuff. So, I mean, if Gina had like a friggin', I don't know, Instagram and like a Facebook and TikTok and all that stuff and wanted to go live on like all four of those platforms, she could do that. She's only streaming on YouTube. And then I am streaming on YouTube and my Rumble as well, which I believe the link to my Rumble is in the description on YouTube as well. I just got to keep Rumble as a backup in case I ever say something stupid that YouTube doesn't like. And hey, it just is what it is. But so you can't see June because June is on my stream, and you're on Gina's stream.
Yeah.
So you can pop over to either side and smash the like button. What Lady Diane does when she watches is she watches the first hour on one channel and then watches the second hour on the other channel. Helps us split the watch hours and stuff.
Yeah, so we both put links in each other's stream in the description, so.
You guys are so techno.
I'm trying.
Well,
there she is.
Yeah, I believe, what was it? Season 2 was the first one we started streaming on both channels, right?
I think so.
Yeah. I know we didn't do season 1, but we've been streaming
on we're on season 3 now. So yeah, I think it was season 2.
Yeah, because we've only been doing season 3 this is episode 9 now. So yeah, we've been doing it much longer than season 3. So, okay. So yeah, we started doing on both channels in season 2 last year because that's when it was like we had like a month left of live streams before season 2 when Streamyard updated and gave the ability to allow your guests to stream on their channels as well. So we waited until season 2 started and then we popped it on both channels and did like, haha, look at this. I thought, it could help, share the watch hours since, Gina's been my co-host now for over 2 years. And she's been friggin' awesome. And, she has her own live stream and stuff, but she, she takes her time out on Saturday night to, help keep me on track and also, share a lot of other stuff too. And
I try.
I always wanted to make sure that this show was just as much hers as it was mine.
Thanks.
So,
even though I haven't done any of the decals. I don't do any of that stuff. That's all Danny.
Yeah, I do all the the banners and all the little videos and clips and stuff like that. Though she has the ability to click them and do them and stuff. I've given her administrative powers over the stream. So sometimes we'll both be trying to click on a comment to highlight it, and one of us will be unhighlighting it while the other one is highlighting it.
I'm sorry. Hands up. I'm sorry.
Drop Danny's link. I'm 99.9% sure I've subbed, but I'm not sure I've ever gotten a single notification from your channel, Danny. Well,
lame.
You're not the only one. Nobody gets notifications from my channel. You have to decide to watch my channel. That's the way YouTube rolls. So you can catch the link in her description. And then you can pop over here if you want to. Hello, everyone on this side of the chat. See, now I'm seeing. There you go. There you go.
Drown is spelled funny. Sorry, I'm labeling all my new nail polishes because I made little swatch sticks for them, so now I'm labeling them. And I typed out drown, and I'm like, that doesn't look right. And I looked at it, I was like, no, that's right. That's a weird word. It's called
Yeah.
drown my demons. Drown. I don't know if you can't see it. It's too
Oh,
small.
it's
Drown my
just
demons.
starting to focus right when you
Oh,
put it away.
it's my new magnetic polish. So you can like make like a little cat
Oh,
eye stripe. I don't know if you can kind of see. There it goes. You can see the little cat eye stripe. Or I just brought all the polish forward. You can't really. Anyway, all the sparkles are just brought forward. And in person, it looks like it has depth to it, which is nice.
I get notification. Gina live or not you? I assume you live too. Yes, I don't know if it's just because Gina streams 2 times a week or whatever else. But yeah, part of it is that I don't post enough content or whatever to keep notifications up and to keep myself up there in the algorithm. But another reason too is probably just because YouTube just doesn't like me, and that's fine. So
Womp womp. Shadow band.
a little bit of that, yeah, probably. I double checked and definitely subbed. So yeah.
Is the
See,
notification bell ring? Did you ring the notification?
and see that's the thing is people will even say like all notifications, and I'll do that on some channels. There's some channels that I want to get notifications from, and I don't. There's other channels that I totally forget that I'm even subbed to, and then all of a sudden I'll randomly get a notification of like them posting a short or something like that. It's like, oh, what?
There they are. Yeah, you think that they hadn't posted in a long time, so you're like, oh, there they are. Let's see what they're up to, or let's see what this new video out of nowhere is. And then you go to their channel, it's full of content that you've missed out on. It's like, what?
Right. Yeah. Oh my gosh, exactly. Like I used to watch like Aqua Pros like pretty much religiously. Like anytime he posted a video, I was like immediately watching it, you know. As soon as I had the ability, I was off work or whatever, I was watching that video. And then like I kind of stopped watching it a little bit and tried to start moving into some of the smaller channels and trying to watch like their content and things like that. And just watching just some other non-fish related content as well. And then I just like stopped getting notifications from them all of a sudden. And then all of a sudden, like, I don't know, 8 months later, I got a notification from him like, oh, Aqua Pros posted a new video. Nice, let's go check it out. And it was like, he had posted like so many things. Like he still posted like not like daily, but at least like a couple of videos a week. And it's just like, man, I've been missing out on all this content.
Either he upset the YouTube overlords or something. I don't know.
Or I just was watching so much other things or whatever that YouTube wanted me to watch or distract me from or something. I don't know. But sometimes it's weird. Like I watch like one video and then all of a sudden like everything completely changes and like turns into stuff related to that video.
Uh-oh. I wasn't paying attention to what I was doing because I put all the shade names on here. And then here at the end, I flipped them. So I put it so the start of the word is here, but I freaking flipped them
Oh
halfway
no.
through. Oh, that's going to mess with me. Just don't look at it, Gina. Just don't look at it. Just put it in the bag and forget about it. It's fine. It's fine.
Oh, that's
Don't
gonna
look at it.
just even thinking about that just irks me.
Sorry.
Gosh, that's awful.
And this label tape is expensive. I don't want to reprint them.
Right? Oh man. But ooh, so you're showing your reef. I took another picture of my
If you
pond.
screen share anything, you can just take my reef down.
Well,
like
it should
back.
pull over to the side, but
You can send it to the backstage.
yeah. Oh, it's small.
There
It's
you go.
fine. So first, my elephant ears bloomed. This little yellow one right there is actually a flower. And it's just like, wow, first I didn't know the elephant ears actually like bloomed. I mean, I kind of assumed that every plant or whatever does have some form of like a flowering sort of thing because they got to reproduce in some sort of way, right? But
Right.
I just didn't really think about it the same way you don't think about that a Java fern probably would actually bloom in some sort of way. Maybe not. Well, maybe not Java fern because I'm not sure if ferns bloom because they kind of reproduce in a different way. But I don't know.
Benjamin, you're
Like
so goofy.
so. What Benjamin?
He said, Gina, your reef looks less purpley and more awesome. It's because on Wednesday night, it was the blues that were up. It's starting to turn a little blue now. So he was saying, he's like, it's a very purple looking reef. I'm like, it's because it's the nighttime lights. Now it's starting to get like that twilight, kind of a mix between white and blues.
Yeah, so I got a flower on this one. And then I took another picture of my pond because I took a picture in the morning when the sun was at a different angle so you can actually see the lilies and all that stuff. So yeah, it's growing in really nice. Can't see any of the fish though. They are they're getting more comfortable in there. Whenever I like look outside out the window and stuff, I can see them all swimming around and going up to the surface and doing the goldfishy thing or whatever, nibbling at the lily pads and whatever else. But whenever I go outside and go out there, they kind of go swim down into the deeper area and just kind of sit still and hide.
You know what's really funny? And if I didn't see your process photos like of you digging out your pond and stuff, it looks a lot more shallow in this picture than what it actually is. Like for some reason there's like this optical illusion going on. It looks like it's only legit like 8 inches deep.
No, I see exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And even when I was filming like the pond and stuff, I had to make sure that I was trying to move the camera around and show all these different angles of it so that you could actually see how deep the pond actually is. And I wanted to show myself in there standing and all this different stuff because with no matter what perspective, with the camera, it doesn't quite get true depth perception.
Right.
And so I'm just like, no matter what angle I was showing, it didn't look like the pond was even like deep at all. But in the very center, like we go back to the screen so you can see my mouse, like right here where the lily pad is, this area is at least 3.5 foot deep.
Yeah, I think I remember you saying the deepest part was about 4 feet deep.
It's about 4 foot, but with all the addition of kind of when I smoothed out the sides a little bit more, I ended up adding some dirt back into the middle area, and then with all the rocks and stuff, so it's probably about 3.5 foot deep in that deepest area. But it's still deep enough to where like I can get in the pond and kind of sit in there and hang out with the fish if I wanted to. I haven't done that yet, but I did, like pull my pajama pants up and just kind of step into the pond and stuff to kind of get the lilies all into the right place. Because I tried to do it from the side and I wasn't reaching far enough in. So.
It's funny because I almost wanted to say that's a really pretty puddle. It's not a puddle.
Yeah.
It's not a puddle.
But then let me pull this down for a second here. And so I can scroll all the way back to the photo that I show the original pond.
Yeah, you can start to see all the reds coming out.
To add on my Okay, so there we go. So that was my original little hole, and this is what I was gonna add on. I ended up adding on a whole lot more. But this area over here is pretty much the same. So if I go back, well, yeah, there's me digging a little bit. But if I go all the way back up, oh, there we go. Oh, yeah. This area right here was the pond, and that's how much I added on. A whole lot more. The waterfall is relatively the same size, but it's all different rocks and stuff. I still have one really big, nice flat rock that I'm trying to break all the little pebbles and the spray foam and stuff off from when I built the waterfall on the other pond. This time I didn't use any spray foam or anything. I tried to do everything just all like completely natural and just placing stones and all that. I think it looks really good.
Oh,
we can't do this out here. Too many predators and snakes unless it's way bigger around. Yeah, that's something that I've been thinking about and all that. I don't have any raccoons around here. I do have cats, like some wild cats, and I'm trying to do my best to keep the cats out of the yard, but I also don't necessarily mind having the cats in the yard on some part because they do keep some of the other things away. I got a whole bunch of blueberries again this year, and I'm really hoping I actually get to eat some of them because the squirrels got them the last time I had a whole bunch of blueberries.
So the raspberry bushes that you gave me actually have raspberries on them.
Yes, they do. I'm glad they do, and they should, because that's what raspberries and blackberries and that's what raspberries and blackberries and those sorts of vining plants do. Is 1 year they grow, and then the second year from that growth they will grow the fruiting things, and they'll actually flower and then produce fruit from that growth the second year, and they'll continue to grow, but you only get the fruit from the growth that was there from the previous year. It's a 2-year growth cycle with those plants. And
so I was thinking about it yesterday, because they're still in those pots because I'm a terrible person. At what point should I put them in the ground? Should I wait until it stops fruiting and then plant it in the ground? I don't want to disrupt anything.
In this case, since you actually already have fruit growing, I would say keep them in the pot for now
until they're done.
Once they're done fruiting, then put them in the ground.
Okay, I'll have to send you pictures of them and let you, because wait, they're not raspberries, are they? Or are they blackberries?
Yes, they're black raspberries. They're the Missouri native raspberry.
Because they're pink right now.
Yeah. Wait until they're kind of like a dark purpley color.
Okay.
Like they should be like this color.
Okay. That's what I was gonna ask you. It's like I know that they're not the typical color that they're supposed to be, so I don't know.
But
they look like raspberries right now.
So with raspberries, the way that I can just really tell is, the plant is covered in thorns anyway, so you don't want to touch the plant. But basically, you just grab the raspberry and you just give it a little bit of a tug.
Yeah.
And so if it stays on, leave it there. Just pull it just a little bit, just enough to, pull the plant with you. But when it's ripe and ready to go, it should just be really easy to pick off. And that's when you know it's good to go.
Hello, Silver Creek. I didn't say hi.
Yeah,
Yes,
so
raspberries are in
last year, at the start early in the year, I dug up some raspberry starters and put them in a couple little pots so that I could bring it over to Gina's house, and she never put them in the ground. It's fine, whatever. She never put them in the ground. So this year they're much larger. They continue to grow, and now they actually have fruiting, raspberries on there. So uh, after after they're done, fruiting, because you don't want to put all that growth back into the root growth. Right now it's focusing on producing the fruit. So let
That's
it
what I
do.
figured.
When it's done with the fruit, then you can put it in the ground and let it focus on root growth for the rest of the year.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Also speaking of plants, I got a new baby.
Ooh,
It's a red philodendron. So it's got
nice.
one reddish leaf
You get
and it
that
has
at
a
Petco?
green leaf. Yes, I got this at the Creve Core store. I was hoping at Creve Core
Nice.
yesterday. But yeah, it's got a red leaf, and then it's got some new growth down the bottom. So I need to
Oh
research
yeah.
what type of potting mixture I need for it, and I need to put it in a pot.
You want indoor potting mix.
I have that.
Yep. So anything that's just labeled as indoor potting mix should be fine. And then you
Okay,
can put
cool.
it in that.
Well, because I tried. I was thinking about getting a little half dead ficus tree too, and I'm glad I checked it first because it was definitely dead. Um, and I was researching it, and it said like potting mix. It's like 1 part potting indoor potting mix, 1 part sand, 1 part perlite. And I was like, cool. I have the potting soil mix, but not the perlite or the sand. So,
You don't need all of that for that sort of thing.
and
That's
then
for a ficus.
yeah. Um, or another source on the ficus. It said like 1 part potting soil and then 1 part like cactus, succulent potting soil mix.
Do y'all knit your first fruit as a false fruit? It depends on what it is.
What does that mean?
The raspberries and the blackberries and any of my berries and stuff like that, I don't. Um Now
Yes, Sabrina,
the,
you can have the glass jar whenever I repot it.
my cucumbers, my peppers, stuff like that, like those first flowers and stuff like that, I start knocking them off because I wanted to keep focusing on the vegetative growth versus the growth of the flowers and the fruit. So right now I've been pulling all the little bitty cucumber starters off of my cucumber plant because the cucumber plant is still only about that, I don't know, a foot and a half long. So I wanted to get them much larger before I wanted to start actually producing my little gherkin cucumbers.
Oh, I see. So Silver's asking if you prevent it from fruiting so that it continues to grow. Is that what that
Yeah.
question is? Okay,
Do you take off the first, like any of the first fruits that you see?
gotcha.
Yep, exactly. Yep. Don't focus on blooms early. Focus on what will bloom eternally. Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting my raspberries to fruit because like Danny said, I left them in those pots. They actually stayed outside over winter in those pots. So I was excited to see leaves in the early spring, but I didn't even I don't go outside. This is why I'm a terrible gardener. Like I don't
Yep.
go outside. So I never saw the flowers and my mom never mentioned that she saw the flowers. And then I happened to let the dogs out and I saw the little pink on the stems, and I'm like, wait a second, and I'm like, those are raspberries.
Yeah. Well, something that I think is cool. I have a prickly pear cactus that I kept in a little pot, and I thought it was gonna die over winter. But even in that little pot, that little bitty cactus survived over winter outside.
Oh,
And so that prickly pear cactus, I grabbed a little piece from one of my customers that he just has it in his front yard, And I was just like, so you dig that up every year and take it inside? I was like, no, I just leave it out there and it just grows back or whatever. And some of it dies off and then it grows back even bigger the next year. I'm like, huh, really interesting. So I grabbed a piece and it continued to live. Now, mine now is, about this big overall, but I wanted to get bigger. But somebody else in this area of Missouri, which is crazy, has their prickly pear cactus outside and it has like 4 or 5 flowers on it, which is awesome because that means they're actually going to get prickly pear fruit potentially, which is like it's kind of tastes the same as like dragon fruit because they're both cactus fruits, but that's just so cool. I'm so jealous of them.
Yeah. So Whip, I appreciate that sentiment, but the issue is that the pots Danny put them in are legit like this big. Like they need to get out of those pots.
They were starter pots. They're not like pots to actually grow in.
It is
like,
not okay.
I bought starter plants and just had extra pots, and so I'm like, here, let me dig up a little starter plant for Gina.
I appreciate it, but no, I am a terrible plant mom for doing that to those raspberries.
But yeah, you can grow entirely sustainable form of vegetation in a closet and an apartment, all that stuff. You can do it. But yeah, you want to get the biggest pot possible for most stuff, except, some things.
Yeah.
Succulents and some of those plants do actually kind of like being in smaller pots and kind of getting a little bit root bound. Not like super root bound, but just a little bit. But even if your plant does get kind of root bound, depending on what type of plant you have, if it's one of those like perennial plants that just continues to stay around, it doesn't die back every year, you can pull it right out of the pot, clean all the dirt off, trim half the roots off, and put it back in the same pot with new dirt and just let it keep growing and it'll be fine.
Yeah. Hi Melvin. Sorry I didn't say hi earlier. We were on a tangent. And James B. Hello.
James B.
Okay, so question about these raspberries. You said that they send off runners and that only raspberries only grow on the growth from the previous year. So all that older growth, it's just leafy, thorny nonsense. It doesn't grow any raspberries.
Kinda.
Okay.
Yes. So all that extra growth, what you can do, because it'll kind of grow up, but then eventually the plant will kind of get too heavy and it'll fall over.
Yeah.
You can cause the plant, through, a couple strings or using different sorts of like metal hooks or whatever you want to make the plant bend over faster if you want to. And then whenever you do that, make the plant bend over, take the tip off that's still growing, just the tip, and trim it off.
Mm-hmm.
And then that will stimulate that whole length. Everywhere where there's a leaf node, all of a sudden you'll have another shoot come up and it'll grow out this way and start growing all vertically. And you can boost the growth crazy. That's the best way to trim your raspberries throughout the year. And then once your raspberries or your blackberries, both plants are very, very similar in how they grow. Once they get too big for your area, just trim them back really big, like really deep to like, you can even trim them back to almost nothing. As long as you have a couple little starter plants started already, like you'll end up with a whole big patch of raspberries after another year or two again anyway.
Gotcha.
So as long as you don't trim them back to completely nothing, you will get your raspberries back.
I was thinking about planting them like in a big like trough type planter to put them in the same spot, since obviously they're doing really well in that spot on my patio. So should I do it like make it like eventually when it grows out have like two, so like 1 year one will bloom, and then once it's done, or one it'll berry, and then what at the end of that year cut it back, and then the next year the other one will berry, like kind of offset each other?
You could do that if you wanted to, but with this 2-year cycle, so you will get berries every single year.
Okay.
It's just so what grew last year will produce berries this year. So then what's producing berries this year will just produce berries, but you'll have more growth coming off this year. And then next year, from what was produced last year and this year, you'll get berries from that. So your berry production will increase exponentially every year as you continue to have a bigger plant. So you don't need to have two battling each other sort of thing.
Okay.
You know, but growing in a big trough or something like that is actually a really good idea. That's how my sister does her raspberries. She has really big, like raised beds that she's growing them in. That's a great idea to put them into a raised bed, because then you can kind of control where they're growing a little bit more.
Yeah.
And just kind of keep them in that raised bed. Just trim them back every year, every couple of years or so, to keep them in the raised bed.
So I just worry about poor Nathan mowing the backyard and him having to get scraped up by the raspberry bush, trying to get as close to it as he can.
Well, see, I don't mow my yard anymore. I have somebody that I pay to do that.
But
they have the trimmer people too, so they can just come and do that. But I'm a little nervous about, the trimmer guys with my pond, because the last time they came, I didn't see it, so I don't know how careful they were trying to be. But when I came back, there was a bunch of like grass and other sort of plant clippings in my pond that I had to get out with the skimmer. But now my cannas and some of the things that I actually planted in the ground, late tropical stuff, are starting to sprout up, and I don't want them to trim over those, because those are my nice canna flowers and stuff. I want those to bloom and all that. But speaking of those, that elephant ear plant that I planted in the water right on the side of the pond that I talked about last week, the biggest leaf on it did start to die off, so I cut that off. But from there, I can see now that there is a new leaf growing. So that means that it has what's the word I'm looking for? Adapted to its new area well enough to where it's continuing to grow. So that's awesome.
June asks, have you seen the multiple fruit trees in one? Yes, I have. They're so cool.
Yeah. There are trees that are close enough related to where you can graft them together. That's actually the only way that you can have one apple tree that actually produces apples, because
you graft a male and a female together.
Well, with apples, you have to have two different varieties in order for them to actually cross-pollinate to produce apples. Otherwise, you just end up with like little crab apples or no apples at all. And you can actually graft two different varieties of apple trees together to the same root system, and the two sides of the tree more or less will cross-pollinate with each other. You can do that with citrus trees as well. You can do that with rose bushes, blueberry bushes, really any sort of like barky plant. That is how you do that sort of thing is through grafting, which you need some special sort of equipment to do it right. There's like this fibery, thin, papery stuff or whatever that almost looks like tape, and it's like a band-aid for the tree, more or less, so that you can like cut into the tree and like slide the little graft in under the bark, and then you can wrap this stuff around it like a bandage on the tree, and it just like helps the tree heal and helps keep the same way a band-aid does to us. It helps keep like the bacteria and the diseases away from the wound that you created on the tree, and allows it to heal and graft properly. Yeah. So it's some really, really cool, not technology, but it's just some, I don't know the right word.
It's some cool ass shit.
Yeah, it's just some cool ass shit that people, same with like air layering, I want to try to do an air layering on my lemon tree, and maybe that might help me get more lemons, or maybe I should just buy a second lemon tree, because I did have like one lemon growing and it fell off now. We'll see what happens a little bit later in the year. That just kind of happens sometimes too, but
Caleb, what's up? What's up? And Jeff Gaines. Sorry. Oh, Geek Boy!
Wild apples, the seed is nothing like the parent tree. Yeah. Yeah, that's why you don't really want to just grab any apple. Yeah, you don't want to grab just any apple from the store and plant the seed. Because, like, you might love Granny Smiths. Be like, Granny Smith apples are the best, and I just really want to grow Granny Smith apples because I can make pies and all that stuff with them. Let me go buy a Granny Smith apple from the store and, just take one of the seeds out and put it in dirt and grow a Granny Smith apple tree. Because you will not get a Granny Smith apple tree from that Granny Smith apple.
Well, you won't get Granny Smith apples from the tree. Because they have to cross-pollinate with another type of apple, right?
But even so, you won't get a Granny Smith apple tree. You'll get some sort of other apple tree.
Oh, I see what you're saying now. Gotcha.
Because the seeds in that Granny Smith apple are not genetically a Granny Smith apple.
Gotcha.
They are hybridized with the other apple that they had to grow, but they still produce the Granny Smith fruit. But now when you plant that, if you were to plant that tree, and even if you had multiple varieties, you would still not have a Granny Smith apple. You would have a Granny Smith hybridized with, a Honeycrisp or whatever else, which might end up being a really good variety. You might end up having some really awesome apple from it. I'm not necessarily saying not to do it, because it is kind of a fun little experiment, and you might end up with, a really cool apple. But, even so, you got to think about, if you plant a seed to grow an apple tree, you're going to have at least 5 to 6 years of trying to grow this tree before you even end up with any apples.
Yep.
So it's a very long-term thing to plant a tree. When you go out to like Home Depot or Lowe's or any of your home stores or whatever to get you with the garden centers, and you go and buy an apple tree from them, like, that tree is already grown for like 6 or 7 or 8 years.
Yep.
So you can plant it, and within a year or two, you're going to get apples. But you need 2. Yes, actually, avocados in stores are not just from cloned trees. Every single avocado that you eat is genetically the same as every other avocado that you've eaten. They are all clones of the same avocado.
Huh.
Every Hass avocado you eat is like the same. But the pit will not grow a Hass avocado. Because they have to have different varieties as well.
Let's see, what else did I get this week? I got like a 1 gallon jug of Seachem Prime. I ordered that from Petco.com because I got tired of buying. Petco only has the stupid little bottles. At Marine Solutions, I got like the big bottle and I finally ran out of it, but they only have like the small bottles at Petco, so I got pissed off about that. So I went online and I ordered the 1 gallon. So I'm set on Seachem Prime for a while.
Wow.
Yeah.
You use Seachem Prime, huh?
My RO system is being stupid. I need to call a friend of mine to come over and look at it.
I'm an API person.
Cheaper to use safe, yeah, I know, but it's more. I do have a thing of safe, and I was pre-mixing it for a little bit for Nathan to use in the tank, but it's easier for him to use Prime. Or yeah, it's easier for him to use Prime whenever he tops off.
A plus B equals 47.
I didn't know there was a gallon jug of that. Yeah.
Oh yeah. There's actually, I believe you can get a full 5-gallon bucket of that stuff. You know, for like the actual, like the bigger, like pet stores and things like that. In general, like when I was at Pet Supplies Plus, we had gallon jugs of everything. We had a gallon jug of the friggin' stress coat and a gallon jug of friggin' the methyl fix and Pima fix and whatever.
Oh, sorry, it's not a 1 gallon, it's a 2 liter. My bad, I misspoke.
2 liter, yeah.
It's a 2 liter.
Same thing or whatever. You know.
I'm a silly Billy.
The large one, the extra large one.
The big one.
The big one.
He lies, I know. And it's funny because on Wednesday I misspoke and I accidentally said that citric acid would lower your pH, and everyone was like, "Excuse me," and I was like, "I'm sorry." Or it'll raise your. I said it wrong. Now I'm mixing myself up again. I said
you said it would raise your pH.
Okay, no, it would
lower.
I said it wrong again. I'm sorry.
But either way,
soda ash raises.
It would make it more
acidic.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
citric acid will lower your. Yes. Or your alkalinity. We were talking about alkalinity.
Yeah.
That's what. And which used to be.
Which used to be termed as basic, but people don't use the term base anymore. You know, like bleach is a base, but it's like labeled as an alkaline thing or whatever.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, because we were talking about doing dips on or treating marine ick. I don't know. All I know is Gina said to pour acid in my aquarium. Yeah.
Definitely.
And if you have hard water,
in there.
And if you have hard water buildup, citric acid is what you use to get rid of that hard water buildup.
You can also just use a little bit of vinegar too.
Now you don't want to use it on actual like power heads, like actual pumps, because it will eat away at the seals and stuff. The vinegar will over time.
Yeah.
Like if you do it once, it's not going to hurt it, but it's not going to be too bad. But doing it over and over and over.
You know, it's where like ever you have like the salt creep or any sort of like buildup or the calcium buildup, wherever you have that. Like I have some around on this tank that I need to get rid of, which I could just make a little short video about it if I wanted to.
Do it.
You just take a little paper towel and just add a little bit of, white vinegar, an apple cider vinegar, any sort of vinegar really, or some citric acid. Just add a little bit to the paper towel and just wipe it down. That's all you need to do.
Nano, hello.
because that stuff is hard to get off once it's built up. But now with a little bit of vinegar.
A little acid makes for a fun weekend. Oh wait, wrong acid. My bad. So it's funny. So I keep talking about my D&D dice that I ordered, and I don't think they're coming until like June 10th, which is when I'm on vacation. I won't be in town. I'm kind of upset about it. Well, oh no, actually the 10th is Monday. Okay, I should be coming home around that time. So
Speaking of, stuff that you ordered that should have been shipped, I did that the wrong way because of this freaking
Craig,
the mirror effect. Anyway,
oh, you
so
messed up your hair.
last week, on Friday, I ordered some KC95 sunglasses because they just launched some and they looked really cool. And they had like a 10% off code or whatever too. So I used that. But they're like, they're kind of like the Ray-Ban style, but they're like a dark red wood grain. So it's just like, ooh, that's really cool. So I ordered a pair of those. And, it said delivery on Tuesday or whatever when I ordered them. So I thought it was going to like be here on Tuesday, but I guess it was going to be shipping out by Tuesday. And then I was like looking at the tracking information, and I was looking at it yesterday, and it said that my package was in transit. Like it left the facility at 4:42 a.m. and it would be at the destination by 9 p.m. tonight. And so it's just like, okay, cool. And right when I got home from work, like I saw my mail lady just like walking down the street, messing around on her phone, holding like a one letter or whatever. She's like walking to the truck or whatever. And it's just like, geez, like you can't even just like deliver the mail anymore without messing around on your phone. But then I was like, okay, cool. Maybe my package is here. And it's like, look, nope, no package, no glasses. And the tracking information still said the same thing. So I'm like, well, it said it was supposed to be delivered by USPS, but I don't know. Maybe this lady lost my package or something when she was messing around on her phone. I don't know. But so I was thinking, well, maybe it just got delayed or something and something got messed up. And so maybe it was going to be delivered today. But I got home from work today and it still wasn't here. And I looked at the tracking information and it said basically the same information that it said yesterday, but it didn't have a deliver by today at the end of 9 p.m. or whatever. It just said the latest update is that it left the facility at 4:42 a.m. on Friday morning. And that's it. So it's just like, so basically you guys are telling me that you don't know where my package is.
That's fun.
So, yeah. And the thing is, there's only a limited number of these sunglasses. They literally only made 800 pairs, and they were trying to sell them all in one day, and they did sell them all in one day. So if my package got lost in the mail, it's not like I can just order another pair. And if I go and complain to Casey or whatever, it got lost in the mail, I want like a refund or a replacement. They can't just replace it. So
right.
It's just like, God, man. My freaking luck.
June says Christopher received a box from Stephen P. He got plants. It starts. Nice.
Yay. You can have my carrier. They deliver randomly to different places your mail. Who knows? The neighbors down the street, down the block, 2 blocks over. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Dude, it's terrible around where I live too. Like some of the mail carriers around here, like some of my customers that live kind of near where I'm at, they love their mail character. The mail carrier. I always just have an absolutely terrible one, it seems. Like half the time they're only wearing like half the uniform or whatever. I had one mail carrier that this lady was walking around wearing like the postman shorts and a sports bra.
Oh.
And it's just like, what?
No shirt.
Like, yeah, nothing. Like, it's like, I get that it's hot, but gosh, the post office used to be a respectable job where people would, wear the uniform and, through hot snow, pouring rain, flood, whatever, they're going to deliver your mail.
Right.
And you just don't get that anymore. Or some people.
And it's a form of identify, so people know who you are. So you're not just a rando walking on people's property.
Right. Exactly. So,
a form of identification. That's what I'm going for.
But then, like, I've had DoorDash delivered to my house several times that I didn't order the food.
Yeah.
And by the time I realize that it's there, it's already cold or whatever, so I can't eat any food. I still have a pineapple vest, like soda that's like this size or whatever in my fridge because I don't like pineapple soda. And I don't know what to do with it. I feel bad just like throwing it away.
I'll take it.
Okay. I'll bring it to you on Tuesday.
I'll place an order just so you can bring over that pineapple soda.
Well, I have something for you anyway.
Aww.
It's a late birthday present, but
you.
I saw it a couple weeks ago when I was out on my route, and I was just like immediately thought of you, but I didn't buy it then. But then a couple days ago, I went to the same place or whatever on a quick break, and it was there again. So I'm just like, I have to buy it.
And now it's fate. It's there again. It's meant to be. But was she hot?
No.
The way you said no.
No.
Oh my god, that was funny.
If she was, I wouldn't be complaining.
Yeah, no, I have a feeling I'm gonna be too lazy to meal prep again, so I'll need lunches for work.
How's the lemon tree, Danny? Any new buds? Actually, I just was talking about that, Craig, before you got in here. When I first put my lemon tree outside this year, I had one little bud on it, but I think the bud fell off before it actually fully produced the open flower because it was still kind of transitioning to being outside from being in my closet over winter. And then I had a second flower on there that actually seemed to be pollinated and was actually producing a little bitty lemon. It got up to, I don't know, maybe about the size of a pea. Well, not even the size of a pea, like half the size of a pea. And then it just fell off yesterday or today. And sometimes with all these different storms and stuff too.
Like, we've been having so many storms.
These different like citrus trees and stuff like that, it can just be harsh on them, like changes in the weather and all that stuff. Because in general, like these plants, where they're like native to, which actually there's no place is native to have a lemon because lemons were created by humans through cross-pollination and hybridization and all that stuff. So really, yeah, there's no climate that is perfect for a lemon. But they just need really, really hot lots and lots of sun, and consistent watering schedule of like 2 times a week. That's it. That's when they're like really, really happy. But, you got to have like a, controlled environment for that. Or, being like California, just where the weather is perfect all the time.
Right.
California. But, yeah, the weather beats them up. And we've had some really bad storms recently. I actually transplanted my cactus into a bigger pot, and the storms keep knocking over the cactus because the roots haven't been able to like grab hold of anything yet since I put it into the bigger pot. So
Adele, hello.
Hey, Danny, hitting the algorithm stuff for you. What? I had no idea that it's true. I don't think those two things are related, but
I think Whip is talking about the lemons not being
oh, yes.
like being
yes.
man-made.
So look up I'm not sure if that is what you're referring to or not about lemons, but yes, look up the origin of a lemon. Because yeah, there's this whole story I heard about it, and at the end of it, it's like, so basically, when life doesn't give you lemons, you make them.
Right. Right. Oh
but yes, lemons were more or less a hybrid between like as like a citron or something like that, which I don't even think those exist anymore, as like an early stage orange before oranges were developed, and like a lime. And I believe limes are natural. And so that's why when you go to other areas of the world, when they talk about lemonade, they're actually talking about limes, not lemons. But yes, lemons were created by humans. Oranges were also created by humans. And bananas, as we know them, were more or less created by humans too. Not exactly. There were bananas, but bananas, wild bananas, are just full of seeds. There's like not even any actual like fruit to eat. It's just like full of seeds. But they genetically modified them to grow without seeds so that we can actually eat them. And so I believe the same thing is with bananas too, that like every single banana you eat is genetically the same as like the original banana. But that's just some weird stuff. All the cloning and things. But cloning plants is easy to do. And there's a couple different ways to do it depending on what type of plant you have. I'm actually trying to get a clone of a plant right now because one of my customers has lemon balm, and I didn't feel like going out and buying a lemon balm plant this year. But I was like, whatever. Let me just pinch off a little piece of lemon balm and put it in a glass of water. And after I get some root growth coming from that, just put it in some dirt, and then I got a lemon balm plant that I just cloned from somebody else's lemon balm plant.
There you go.
Danny, use your first lemon to grow more plants. Save the seeds. I thought about that, but the seeds that I get from this lemon tree are not going to be the same variety of lemon that I have. And it's not going to be a pink variegated lemon. Just because lemons are the same way with like cross-pollination and stuff like that. So if you go to the grocery store and you buy a Meyer lemon, and you do whatever you want with the lemon, you eat it, you make your cocktail, whatever, and you save a seed and you grow a tree from that seed, you're not going to get a Meyer lemon tree. You're going to get some sort of a lemon tree, but it's not going to be a Meyer lemon. And you might end up with a much more sour sort of lemon versus a sweeter lemon. You might end up with like a really sweet lemon, but you don't really know what you're going to end up with. But it's not going to be a Meyer lemon. Sometimes it happens. Yeah, sometimes. Sometimes you get lucky. But I did try to I bought a lemon and I tried to get a tree growing from seed. But I just don't have good success with trying to grow any sort of tree from a seed. I've looked up so many different instructions on how to do it. A lot of these different seeds require winterization. So you have to more or less trick the seed to think that it's outside and going through winter. So you have to like put it in a slightly moist area, but not like wet. And so like they tell you to like slightly wet a paper towel and like wrap the seed in a paper towel, and then you put it in the fridge. And then after like a month or 2 months or 3 months of being in the fridge, you open it up and all of a sudden you got a sprouted seed. And so then from that is when you're supposed to then like put it in the dirt or something like that. And winter is supposed to be over and it's supposed to be springtime then for the tree. But I've never had success with that. I've tried with peaches. I've tried with apricots. I've tried with blueberries. And I've tried with lemons. I have not had success with any. Now, I've tried something different this time because I have some golden raspberries. Some of my golden raspberries have already fully ripened, and I've already eaten a few this year. And so I grabbed one of the little seeds out of my teeth, and I just kept it exposed, and I just put it right in the fridge, and I'm just going to leave it in there for a day or two, and then I'm going to try putting it in some dirt and watering it and see if I end up with a little golden raspberry plant. And if I do, then I'm going to plant that on the other side of my black raspberries, because basically the way I planted them, I did black raspberry, golden raspberry, and then black raspberry. So then if I end up with more, then I'll put a little golden raspberry on the end of that other one, so then it's black gold, black gold.
So I think for my next nail set, I'm going to use, I have a little stamping plate that has like carnivorous plants and some bugs on it. I was just looking at it a little bit ago. I was like, is there a cicada on here? Because we're in the middle of our cicada emergence right now, which, yes. Oh my God. There are so many and they're so loud.
He grew a passion fruit from yogurt. That's not fair.
Aw. But what's funny is around our house, the cicadas aren't bad.
Yeah.
At least by my house. It's nuts.
I've been telling people, because people have been asking me, like, you know, what are the cicadas like? Or I was like, I don't have it in my house.
Yeah.
All I hear is tree frogs. That short that I shared, you know, the rainstorm of the tree frogs, that's all I hear every night is tree frogs. Maybe a couple crickets or something like that, but it's just tree frogs.
You get the people who say, are you sure those aren't cicadas? No, because I've been to areas, I work in an area where cicadas, for the Creve Coeur store, the cicadas are nuts.
Yes.
Like,
so
West County, St. Louis, they are nuts around that area.
I was just telling this to my coworkers before I left work today, that there is like a 5 to 10 mile radius pretty much centered right on my house.
Mm-hmm.
That there are no cicadas. You don't hear them at all. But once you go right outside that radius, if I go 10 minutes north, south, east, or west, I just hear cicadas like crazy.
Oh, they're up north too? Oh my God. So yeah it's just, I wonder.
They're further up north into like Sioux Passage area. They're
Yeah.
up at Sioux Passage. They're over on like over there, and they're over there, and they're all the different directions. But where I am and where you are, there's
None.
none.
And there's some old ass trees here. Like this is an old neighborhood where we have tall ass trees. So
Yeah,
I don't unless it's because the city, you know how they spray insecticide in the winter times, like for mosquitoes and stuff. Like
yeah.
I don't know if that's affecting them, or if just
But see,
all the
that's the
old people
thing is,
around here use
these
Roundup.
cicadas are 23 years old.
I know, but they're in the like their larvae and stuff's in the ground. That's why I wonder if like Roundup, like all the old people using Roundup around here.
Oh, maybe. But that's the thing is, I've been in areas like St. Charles and stuff too that are
They're
really
fucking nuts.
nice.
They're
That they're just
nuts.
all over the place.
They're
So
nuts.
I really just think that the spell I used worked. I'm just-
Right. Damn you, Danny, and your witchcraft. Um,
no,
no, but like I
I'm
said, I was at the
sorry
cream.
about that, but like they're just seriously they're just not here. And there's some people that are like, oh, don't worry, they'll get there. They're just delayed or whatever. And I'm like, no, because these cicadas
No.
only have a few weeks left before they're just going to be completely gone. Their mating period is going to be over, and they're going to lay their eggs underground, and that's it.
Yeah. Yeah, because like I said, I was at the Creve Core store yesterday and I was taking the trash out and there's a line of trees like in between like our, the parking lot of the back of the building and then the road. And just you could see all the female cicadas just swarming the trees. And it was so freaking loud. My ears were ringing when I came back inside. Like I'm like, holy crap. Like,
Yeah,
there's so many of them. And yeah, there's certain parts of the highway that you drive through. Like I said,
yep.
the
And they
Maryland
start
Heights
bathing
area.
the
Oh
windshield.
my god, pelting your windshield. I was like, oh my, and you could
Yeah,
see them. You see them
I
flying,
keep
and you're like, oh, here we go.
I check my car every time I'm leaving work to make sure I don't have any hitchhikers because I
Hmm.
don't want because since we don't have any, just in case I happen to still be living in this house 23 years from now, I don't let any cicadas then either.
Yeah,
So
you don't want to plant them. Um,
we're just gonna make sure it doesn't
so
happen.
we had 5 cicadas coming to the store today that I had to help, take them back outside. The first one, it was funny because it was on a customer. She had a dog on a leash, that they were getting a new harness for them because it's a new dog to them. And then they had a pet stroller with another dog inside of it. Well, they were rounding the aisle going from toys to collars and leashes, and I thought I heard the little cicada "burp." Like, I thought I heard it, but they were mid-turn, so I thought it was, like, just the a squeal of, like, their tire on their stroller,
Yeah,
so I was like, okay, whatever." Um, well, then all of a sudden I heard it again, but it was longer like, more drawn out, and the girl just starts freaking out. Like, she's like, and so and then I see it go towards the front windows to try to leave because 'cause they're dumb, and it hit the glass and he fell. But I was like, "I knew I heard it!" And I go after it, like I'm gonna walk over, and I just, like, casually I just picked it up and I took it outside and I let it outside. And I came back inside, and my store manager, who witnessed the whole thing, he goes, "That was the most hilarious thing to watch a female customer freak the fuck out about the cicada and just watch you casually just walk over to it, scoop it up like it's nothing, and then take it outside." He goes, "That was the funniest thing ever." I was like, "Yeah, yeah, I'm not afraid of it."
yeah. Oh gosh, I did that all the time at Target with like the spiders and stuff.
Yeah,
They're like, oh my god. And I just like, oh my god, it's just a little brown spider. Just
yeah,
can we just take it outside really quick?
yep.
Well,
I did that whenever at the fluorescent store. An IT guy came because they were changing out our break room computers because that's like our training computer. Um, Swapping out the actual towers. Um, he goes into the break room and he comes back out and he goes, "Oh, there's a spider under the desk." And I look and it's just a cellar spider. So the ones that look kind of like daddy long legs, but they actually have like the two segment body parts, so it's not a daddy long leg, but it's just a cellar spider. So I'm just like, "Oh, really?" And I just like reached and I like scooped around. So I was holding the webbing, but it was like dangling. And I'm like, all right, I'll deal with it. And he goes, I cannot believe you just did that. I'm like, it's a cellar spider. Come on.
Yeah.
It could have ate you. See, that's the thing. Do these cicadas seem smaller to you?
So yeah, the black cicadas are the smaller ones.
Okay.
Black
I was like,
and
I remember
red
these things
cicadas are
being
not
like
as big
so
as the
much
army
bigger.
cicadas.
Okay.
The army pattern cicadas are much larger. Those are the 17-year cicadas, I believe.
And wasn't this supposed to be a double emergence? Like two different ones? Or is it just an
Yes.
overlap of the same species?
They're both here.
Okay. Because
But
I've only seen the black cicadas.
yeah. So this is the 17-year and the 23-year. And then this is the annual cicada. These are guys, the army ones are around all the time, and they're much larger. They get about, almost 2 inches in length. Whereas, yeah, the black ones are smaller.
Yeah. That's a pretty good size one for a black cicada.
Yeah.
But
gosh, yeah, you just where they are, you just look up in the trees and you can just see them everywhere.
Yeah, it's the females. Like I was talking to my best friend like 2 days ago, and she was saying that in her backyard they're swarming her trees in her backyard. She was taking a few pictures of them and sending them to me. But she's like, if I didn't know what cicadas were and I were to go in my back right now, I would think that there's a massive swarm, like there's swarming hornets in my backyard, and I would freak the F out. And I'm like,
yeah.
it looks like the females, because it's the females that are flying around the trees.
Yeah.
The males are on the tree and they're the ones screaming their heads off. It's the females that are flying around and choosing what male they want to mate with. But it is nuts.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. They're just nuts. And I'm so glad that I don't have to really deal with them at my house.
Right. I thought the tree frogs were bad back when my pool was open. Like, oh my God. And it's so funny driving down the highway too, because there'll be a cluster of trees, and as you're going past it, 70 miles an hour with your music on, you can still hear them. It's like a like you can hear them through your car.
But one area where I was taking care of a customer, I was like in the middle of like the foresty areas back there near like Sioux Passage and stuff. And the cicadas were just so loud. Like it was just like it was deafeningly loud. And then there was some other sound that was going on to where I couldn't tell what it was. Like I wasn't sure if the cicadas were just so numerous that it was resonating in some sort of harmonic way, or like somebody else was trying to produce a sound to like make that maybe the cicadas don't like or something. Like, I don't know, maybe they're trying to combat the cicadas with a different sound. I don't know. But there was just some other weird sound that was going on that I couldn't figure out what it was.
Huh. Interesting.
I still don't know what it was. But I've heard some weird sounds out sometimes before. There's one time years ago that
freaking skinwalkers.
I heard the sound that it just sounded like somebody was outside with a like building-sized vacuum cleaner. And some people might, oh, it's probably just an airplane or something like that. It's just like, I've lived next to the airport like my entire life. I know what airplanes sound like. I know what jets and helicopters sound like. I know the difference between the afterburner and the reverse thrusters and all the different parts. Like, I know what planes sound like. This was not a plane. I don't know what it was. It just sounded like a giant vacuum cleaner. That's the only way I can describe it.
June says we get those 3-inch grasshopper swarms. Nasty mess on the windshield. Ew.
Locusts. Yeah. So did you
Ugh.
know that a locust is the final like evolutionary stage of a grasshopper?
Oh, they're the same insect?
They are the same insect,
Oh.
but it's only when so many grasshoppers have gotten to their full final stage in an area that they will collectively go through a final metamorphosis and turn themselves into those evil locusts.
I did not know that.
Yeah, definitely look up, that if you haven't. There's some cool videos about it. But yeah, they a grasshopper starts as like a little like under. I believe they start. No, they don't start underwater. I don't think like a dragonfly does.
They're not like a water nymph or anything.
They start kind of in like this weird sort of like larval stage, kind of almost like a caterpillar, and then they turn into a nymph where they have like they look like basically like a miniature grasshopper, but they don't have any wings or anything like that. And then they will metamorphosize the third time and turn into their adult form of a grasshopper where they have the wings and the ability to fly and all that stuff. But yeah, then and only if there are there's got to be like some sort of number, but only if there's a significant amount of grasshoppers in an area will they actually collectively all metamorphosize at the same time and turn into this massive swarm of locusts.
Yeah, so here's my here's my
Whoa.
carnivorous plant plate.
Oh, that's
So
cool.
yeah, so my next nail, you got
There's
some bugs at the top.
Tarantula.
Yeah, there's some bugs, and I was hoping that there was a cicada, but there's not.
There's a
There's a
ladybug.
millipede. Yeah, there's a millipede. And then you got your Venus
What is-
flytraps.
What do they call ladybugs in Australia?
They call them something else. There's a couple moths down at the bottom.
Yeah. Or maybe it's not Australia. Maybe it's like Great Britain or something like that. But I've heard them called something else. It's like similar to ladybug, but it's not ladybug. It's oh gosh, I can't remember what they call it.
Let's go to Google.
That's what I'm doing. Other name for ladybug. Ladybird. That's right.
Oh, ladybird.
Ladybirds. Yeah. Beetle 1. Crunch, crunch, crunch. The state has a department that goes around and counts the grasshoppers.
Yeah, he said yep. Or bird. Yep.
Lady
Ladybird.
beetle or ladybird. Yep.
Hello, baby boy. Come here. There he is.
It's Miko.
It's Miko. Can I talk without you trying to put your tongue in my mouth? Please?
He's like, okay.
He'll first jump into my lap, and all he wants to do is like just stick his whole nose in my mouth. And I'm like, can you stop?
Yeah. Yeah, dogs love faces. And that's why like a jumpy dog, ones that loves like jump up on people and just that's like probably the hardest thing to break on a dog.
Yeah.
Just because like dogs love faces and they just want to be close and they just want to love you and they're like not everybody wants a dog in their face.
Or muddy paw prints on their pants.
Or that, or if they're wearing like shorts or something like that, they don't want scratches all up and down their legs
gosh,
and
yes.
claws and things like that. Yeah, that's the worst. But I'm a dog person. I love dogs, and so it's like I always have to. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. It's like I don't care. It's a dog doing a dog thing.
Yeah.
Like
what gets me is the big dogs, and they reach when they jump, and then they like get your forearms. Ugh.
Yeah. The only dogs that I just don't like, I just have this like, I'm watching you like vendetta against them or whatever. Yorkies and Chihuahuas.
Yeah.
These
Yeah.
Yorkies, some of my customers just have these super evil Yorkies that are just like trying to attack me through the window, and it's just like I just look at them like, "What are you gonna do? You ain't gonna do nothing."
So much anger in such a little package.
I know. Just so much, and it's just like I don't even get that much anger from like these pit bulls and these King Corsos that are like specifically supposed to be guard dogs.
Right.
Like you just like look, there's just so much evil in this little dog. Oh my gosh.
Craig, it's because you like him so much because he's a mini Aussie. I'm sorry. I'll leave. I'm sorry. I'll leave.
He's got those cute little eyes, though.
He does.
The innocent eyes. What? I don't do nothing.
Okay, he laughed. I'm sorry. I'll stop.
Aussie. Oi.
Oh, bless you. Oh my god. Okay, you're getting down.
Uh-oh. No throwing up on stream.
Well, throw up in here because there's no carpet in here. Much easier to
clean up. I have totally done that with Tundra before, when she's like in the hallway about to throw up on the carpet, and I'm like, nope.
In the kitchen.
Move her into the kitchen and the bathroom real quick. Like, you're going on the hard floor.
So much easier to clean up.
Yep. And then she'll like try to like run away back onto the carpet or something because she like thinks she's in trouble. I'm like, you're not in trouble. I just want you to throw up here.
Stay in here. Put her in the bathroom and close the door. Get sick in there. I'll be back in 5 minutes.
Oh man. Oh yeah.
Yeah, did I buy anything else this week? I don't think I did.
Didn't buy anything this week, I don't think.
Oh, I got some jewelry. So on TikTok and stuff, there's this MLM where they the rings especially, they have them in these little citric acid or not the oh my gosh. What's baking soda? These little baking soda cubes. So that you put them in water and they fizz, and then it exposes, it reveals a ring or whatever. But they also have like these blind boxes. But anyway, it's like a thing where you buy essentially mystery jewelry, and they had the May ones, and green's my favorite color. So I was like, I don't know exactly the setting I'm getting, but at least I know it's gonna be green. So I'll make do. So I got earrings, necklace, and a ring. So yeah, those came this week. The ring actually came with 2 bands. One's a chunkier band, and the other one's like a small, dainty band. And my mom, I offered both of them to my mom, and she's like, I don't want the bigger one. I'll take the little dainty band though. So I was like, okay, there you go.
All right.
Yeah. I have them in the other room, but I don't have them in here. Your bird is very quiet. That's because she's in the living room. It's past her bedtime. Mm-hmm. I don't ever have her in here because she hates this room. I think there's too much clutter and it freaks her out. And she's just never in here, so it's an unfamiliar room.
Yeah. I kind of have the same thing with my birds in this room. Anytime I take them in here, like they'll kind of sit for a second and then they'll just kind of fly around and just kind of freak out. And but eventually I'll be able to bring them in here. this big piece of wood that I'm a little hooked up in there. Gotta fix that. There we go.
So talking about flying around the room and potentially going in a fish tank, that was where one of the cicadas were, one of the 5 cicadas. My aquatic specialist comes out of aquatics with the aquascaping tongs and a cicada at the end. He goes, "It was in a fish tank." I was like, "Oh, we don't have any cichlids big enough to eat them." But yeah. I was like, "Whoopsie."
Been lurking in between the stream.
Lando, hello.
Finally able to sit down and watch the stream. What's up? My birds are not necessarily quiet. I can hear them even throughout these headphones, but I believe the background noise cancellation through Streamyard actually cuts all their sound out.
Yeah.
But I can also hear the water dripping and stuff from some of these tanks that are low, and I don't think you guys can hear that either.
Mm-mm.
I love your bird. Your 2 channels have the only birds my kitty will attack the screen. I'm hoping to get them to be part of the live stream again in the future. I got that cool piece of wood. I just need to get a saw and kind of cut off the bottom, because basically they had it like bolted to a big block of block of concrete or something like that. And I guess the storm or something had knocked it off. And so where it was bolted in, the wood kind of split a little bit. So I want to cut up further in so I get some nice clean wood again, so that I can actually bolt it into something else, so that I can have it as a good solid stationary thing, so the birds feel comfortable on it as well. And then I'll have a nice bird stand behind me where hopefully the birds can be at and be interactive in the stream, and maybe fly up onto my shoulder and fly back and do their sort of thing.
Yeah, that would be nice.
You're just like so far behind. Did I cut off my long locks? Yeah.
You did that a while ago.
Yeah, there's no hair. There's nothing there. It's gone. I'm just here though. It's been about 3.5 weeks now since I donated my hair to Wigs for Kids. It is kind of hard to see sometimes with the different backgrounds and stuff, and but my hair is at a good length and texture right now to where you can actually kind of see that. Yeah, my hair is short.
Yeah, he did. Plushie definitely did cry, but Plushie's hair is cut too.
Yeah, didn't Christopher cut his hair as well?
Yeah, I was gonna say, I thought he showed up on
Fathom's
stream
since I did it.
Yeah.
Which I didn't do it to freaking influence anybody else to do it. I've just been planning to do this as for 5 or 6 years, 4, 5, 6 years, something like that. Spring in 2024, I was gonna do it with the same group of the long hair is where I get my shampoo and my hair ties and all that stuff. It's just the company of men with long hair that make products for men with long hair. Have they planned this great cut of 2024 a long time ago, and I plan on participating in it. And I was going to originally cut my hair a month and a half, 2 months ago, and try to do it the same time that everybody else was doing it with the actual event in Los Angeles. That's I'm not gonna fly all the way to LA to be part of the event, but I wanted to just kind of do it all at the same time as them. And my buddy that's a barber ended up being much more booked up than I originally thought he was going to be, which is, it's great for him. Like, it's awesome that you have to book a whole month in advance in order to see him. But I didn't know it was going to be that difficult. I was like, hey, you think you can cut my hair on Sunday? It's like, yeah,
Nope.
I don't work on Sundays, and I don't. You're gonna have to book through the website. And it was like, dude, you're booked out for like a whole month. And it was like, yeah, I know. I was like, I mean, good for you, but geez.
I have the heart to tell you. Yeah. Benjamin Peters also cut his hair. He got 14 inches off and donated to Wigs for Kids.
14 inches for Wigs for Kids?
Nice.
That's awesome.
I mean, I get it's for the kids, but haircuts are for quitters.
Yeah. But here's the thing though, I've always loved having long hair.
Speaking of which, I need mine cut.
And every time I've grown my hair out, I've gotten it longer and longer. Try not to block my face with the microphone. There we go.
I just had my hair cut not that long ago. It was whenever I started back at Petco.
Huh. When I was a kid, when I was like a little kid, so like I had 3 older sisters, and so my sisters always had long hair, and so, but even so, like, I just always liked long hair on men, women, whatever. I just always like long hair, and I always wanted to have long hair. And I would even play like dress up with my sisters and like put like tights on my head so I had long hair, even though I didn't have my hair. And but as I got older, I kept wanting to grow my hair out, but anytime my hair would get to a certain length, my mom would just cut it. And yeah. I'm just going to take off a tiny bit. And then she cut off like 3 inches. And I was like, you jerk. And, so it's like my mom wouldn't let me have long hair. Now, when I got into high school, my hair got longer than it had ever gotten before. I got it down to about shoulder length, right about there. And then I joined the Army. So I cut it all off and joined the Army. And then after the Army, I grew it out again. And it got it to shoulder length. And then it's like, cool, I think this is the longest my hair has ever been. And then I got it a little bit longer. I got it to about maybe here. And then I cut it all off again. I mean, before I cut it all off, I just cut off the sides. And I kind of went with the top and did like a Viking sort of haircut for a while. Inspired by the Ragnar Lothbrok character from the show Vikings. I just really like that haircut. It's like, you know what? I think I could actually pull it off. And I did. I rocked that for a while. And then I ended up I had some issues like pulling it back. I had some breakage up front, and I ended up kind of like trimming the breakage back, and then ended up like shaving it back to where my whole hairline ended up being like back like a whole inch. And I was like shaving my hairline back. I was like, I'm tired of doing this. So I just shaved the whole thing off and started over again. And that's when you guys came in several years later. And, it's been about 9 years since I've had my hair this short. And so I've only been doing YouTube for like 3-4 years now. And so the life of Danny's hair, season 4. Yeah. We are pretty much on season 4 of me growing my hair out, And so, yeah, you guys will get to see all the awkward stages of me growing my hair back out again. But I'm going to keep the tradition going. And I don't plan to cut my hair anytime soon. And who knows how long it'll be before I'm just like, you know what? I'll probably cut my hair in a couple of years or something like that. But the tradition that I'm going to keep going is that my hair is going to be longer this time than it's ever been before. And there's some people that, they say you got to cut your hair, or if you don't cut your hair, it will never continue to grow. just like plants or anything else, you got to like trim it back to stimulate the growth, and
And just to
so,
cut the dead ends off.
well, yeah, cut the dead ends off and stuff like that. But my brother's hair, now, this is, I believe, the first time my brother's ever grown his hair this long. And it got to about shoulder length and it stopped. He hasn't cut his hair in years and it's still right here.
Yeah.
He's trimmed it up a little bit and then it grows right back to there and it just stops. So maybe I have to shave my head every 10 years or something like that in order to get my hair to grow longer than it does. But I'm not sure if that's what I have to do or not. That's just what I've kind of been doing. Pretty much like every 10 years or so, I cut my hair back real far. Do wigs for kids people accept back hair? If it's more than 12 inches long or 10 inches long or whatever, and you can put it in a ponytail, then sure. I don't see why not.
Ew. Who said that?
Arch Knight.
Oh, Arch Knight.
But yeah, so I'm gonna grow my hair as long as I can get it. And that's what I was gonna do this last time. But then, like I said, yeah, like 4, 5, 6 years ago, I saw that the long hairs are planning to do that, and I was just like, I really like this company and how they've brought, cool hair ties and all these different like hair products and stuff. It feels like, for me, because I mean, it really is like all these other companies, for the longest time, if men wanted to grow their hair out, they had to use women's hair products because that's just all the good products that were out there. Everything smelled like flowers and cucumber melon and all that other stuff, which Garnier Fructis, I used that for years too. I think it's good shampoo or whatever. I wish it didn't have all the sulfates in it because, every so often I will, maybe use Garnier Fructis or something like that. But it really makes my hair like super poofy. I don't like it.
Yeah.
It's like really dry and it feels like it's almost like hay. I just don't like it. But
I use Shea Moisture. So far, I really like it.
But anyway, like the company, the long hairs, they started out on like Shark Tank doing hair ties for guys, and they've expanded to do so much, and they do hair oils and shampoos and conditioners and leave-in conditioner and all different sorts of like hair ties and headbands and like extra large hair ties and I don't know. They got a lot of different cool things out there. And being that, this company, they did all these things and they make all these products for me and other men out there like me that like to have long hair. Like, I wanted to be part of their whole thing of, cutting the hair off too and, donating it to the kids because, these kids need hair and all that. They don't. I guess they don't need it. Beauty is on the inside and all that other garbage they tell you. But I mean, there's something that these wigs can like change these kids' lives and make them feel like they are just like everybody else.
Right.
And that's
it helps with their self-esteem.
Yeah, self-esteem.
Kids really do. Yeah, they definitely do seek to fit in.
Yeah. I mean, we all kind of seek to fit in some way, unless you're just born a rebel like I am. But I mean, it's a monkey see, monkey do, but psychologically, it just kind of makes sense. And they even portray this in some different shows. And I saw it on episode 6 of the Fallout TV show that I'm watching, where it's just like, if everybody else is doing something that you think is kind of weird, but everybody else is doing it, you're not going to really think that everybody else is doing something weird, really. You're going to more feel weird that you're not doing it and you don't understand why they're doing it. So then next thing you know, you're just going to start doing it. And like, they tested this out in so many different ways, so many different times, and it pretty much always happens. If you walk into a doctor's office and every time a bell rings, every single person stands up, and then sits down, after it happens like so many times, you're either going to start doing it or you're going to walk out because you're just like, something is weird here, you know?
Right.
But it's like, you know, it's that whole like conformity thing, you know? Monkey see, monkey do.
Monkey see, monkey do.
Whatever, you know? Don't open the doors. Rule 1. Yeah. Hair is hair.
Yeah.
Are you a hairist? No, I'm not a hairist at all. I like all sorts of hair. But it is nice to have short hair for a period of time. I love long hair. I can't wait to grow my hair back out again. But in the meantime, I'm really enjoying not having a bunch of hair in my face. And like all the little baby hairs tickling and making my forehead all itchy. Sometimes I still do this sort of thing where I'll try to pull my hair around my ears, even though there's no hair there. But like, it's just really nice. And I've told several people this. I truly feel like if I would not have cut my hair off right at the beginning of my vacation on May 1st, I do not feel like I would have actually been able to get that pond finished.
Yeah.
I would have had my hair in my face so many different times. It would have just caused so much additional frustration to where I would have taken more breaks. And any break that I take always ends up being a lot longer than I want it to be, just because once you start relaxing, it's hard to get back out there again, you know? I'm one of those people that I want to get it done. And that's what took this pond so long to get done in the first place, was I didn't have an entire weekend to actually get down and get it done, or even longer than a weekend. I had a hole in my backyard just sitting there for an entire year because I knew I needed more than 2 days to get it done. And I wasn't going to even start on putting the liner in place until I was able to get that pond done. And I knew it was going to take a long time. There's going to be a lot of the rocks and all that other sort of stuff. And like, but I knew like also like once I get that liner in place, like then the pond can start holding water. And so like I got to start to get things done, or else then I just have a big hole in the ground full of water. Like, so that's why it took so long to finally get it done. And I was so happy that everything worked out as it did. I got my hair cut, and then it's like, let's get to work. And I just worked and worked and worked, and I got it done that first day that I was working so hard. I just kept going so nonstop that by the time I was finally finished and like sat down, it was like, okay, I think that's enough for today. All of a sudden, like all my adrenaline kind of went away, and I almost passed out.
Right?
I was like dehydrated and just like been working and sweating, and like it was just so nice to be able to just grab my shirt and wipe the sweat off and get right back to work without hair all over.
Yeah, that post adrenaline crash.
Yeah. Like like the marathon runner gets all the way to the end, and they're just like sprinting all the way to the very end. They cross the line, and then boom, collapse.
Yeah.
Like that was it.
Yep.
Like, all right, I'm done.
Yeah. Or even after a really long live stream, like you just crash afterwards. Oh, I was going to mention it earlier. So June said that, or somebody said that they missed the birds. I talked about possibly doing a maintenance stream during the day on like a Tuesday or a Thursday on one of my days off. You'll definitely be seeing / hearing Marco then, because that's where her cage is right next to the tank.
Yep.
Just to this right side. Like if the camera extended to about here, you would see Marco's cage.
Nice. See, we're right at time here, but I'm going to get to. Have you seen the show where they stage people in the elevator facing the wrong way, and even though the person not in on it will eventually face the wrong? I haven't seen that exact one, but
I have.
That's the type of stuff that I'm talking about. Like, they stage these things to just be weird, and then it's like, before you know it, the person that's not in on it just starts doing the thing. And they have no idea why they're doing it either. But they just do it anyway. And you can even expand on this experiment more to where you have people that know, like, that are in on it, right? And they basically train all the people that aren't in on it. And so then at some point you have 10 people that are doing the thing, and they have no idea why they're doing it. And all of a sudden there's nobody in the room anymore that is in on it. And everybody that's doing this thing is doing it and has no idea why they're doing it, but they're just doing it.
Yep.
And it's now become a permanent thing that is established in that little society, that is what you do. And it's like, when you know that you can do this with people, it's like, how many things we do as a society in this world, or in individual cultures or whatever, do we do that we just continue to do, even though we have absolutely no idea why we do it?
So it's funny because I see this at Petco. Like, since I help out at other stores, the way that different stores do things differently, it's just like you go to another store and you're just like, why do you guys do it this way? And they're like, it's just the way it's always been done. Like, it's just the way it is here.
Yep. I'm going to tell Kitty she'll be waiting. She remembers to this one. Okay, guys. We are over time now. And Brianna does remember. Oh, Belana, I mean, does remember Gina's voice. She's waiting in front of the TV.
Aww. Sorry, Kitty.
Well, guys, we're a few minutes over, but that's all right. Just wanted to get through a couple of those last minute questions there. But thanks for joining us. Had pretty good turnout today. So thanks everybody for coming in. Don't forget to smash that like button if you haven't already. And if you've only been watching on one channel, like if you're on mine, hit the description really quick, hop over to Gina's channel, hit that like button. Do the same in reverse if you can, help us both out, since we both do this every Saturday night for you guys and for us too. Hey, I have fun doing this thing. I wouldn't continue to do it if I didn't enjoy it. And definitely there's sometimes that I feel like, do I really want to continue doing this? But I do it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, guys, we will see you next week. I don't think there's anything crazy going on next week. Should just be a normal day. So if you're in the United States, have a great rest of your Memorial Weekend. Don't forget what it's actually about. I kind of wanted to talk a little bit more about that, and I didn't really get to. But yeah,
Oh,
thank you to all, those veterans for everything that you do. The ones that didn't make it home and gave the ultimate sacrifice. That's what this weekend's really about. Um, you can thank the veterans around you, but it's not really about them or us. I'm a veteran myself. This weekend's not about us. We made it home. This weekend is about those that didn't and gave us
yep.
the ultimate sacrifice for our freedom and all that stuff. So enjoy your barbecue and whatever else you do, but don't forget who gave us the ability to have all that barbecue and all that stuff. So we will see you next week on another awesome episode of Fish and Friends.
I'll see you guys later. Bye.
Bye. So long. Thanks for the fish.